Welcome Blazers! This video will give you everything to know about the ZR380, including tips and tricks on how to fly and much more. First and foremost, we will go over the car itself and where to buy it, and also how much it costs after upgrades. So the car itself is known as the ZR380, and you can purchase that via the internet app on your phone. You go on to Travel and Transport, or if you find a section here, which you should, you can go to Arena War page, where you can find arenawar.tv. Should be the first option in Travel and Transport. Just click on that, and you'll be on your Arena War screen on the site. From here, you can go and get a Arena Workshop. That will cost you around $1 million, probably a little bit more if you get mechanics. The only one that's recommended for this video is getting the Benny's mechanic, in which you can get from the workshop section. You can change your office style, you can change your workshop graphics, workshop color, you can get additional garage floors. And for the mechanics, you can get 3 different mechanics. Unfortunately, I actually already have all 3, which is a good thing, but bad because they don't show it after you already have it. I really don't see why that's a thing, but I cannot click on it. You can also get a personal quarters. The mechanics themselves, they will cost a bit of money, but other than that, the only one you really need is the Benny's mechanic. The workshop, the weapon workshop, that's up to you. That helps you with your Mark II weapons. I think there is one more mechanic. Yeah, the regular mechanic. That's what you get first, so you don't have to pay for that one. It's the only 2 additional mechanics you would have to pay for. The car itself, though, that would be on the Arena War site. If you want to get the base car, you want to go to Arena War Ready Vehicles, or buy Arena Ready Vehicles, whatever the thing is. For the one that I got, I recommend Future Shock. These give a cleaner look to the vehicles, so you can design them in any way you want. Or if you want to get like an old apocalypse style, you can get that. Or if you want to get like a fun, clownish type of style, you can get the Nightmare version. Now, be aware that those ones might not have as many options when it comes to actually like changing colors, or doing this, doing that. It's like more of the cosmetic stuff, so that's really more up to you. But the one that I have is the Future Shock ZR380. You can get that one. I see that there's also different options on here as well. Yeah, I got the Future Shock ZR380. Get that one. That'll give you what you need for this video. That'll be the car itself. The car itself, as far as I see, would be for the one that I'm asking you to get is $2.1 million. Whereas the screen says a little bit more than that. It is going to be rather expensive to first of all get the car. So the total cost after upgrades would be around $5 to $6 million. And including the site price, I'd say around $6 million. If it's that bad. So I'd say up to a maximum of at least $6 million to see how far you get. It might be a little over, it might be under. I could be wrong here and there, you never know. But for the car itself, there is quite a lot of modifications, so that's actually in the next part of the video. Now the one I chose is kind of like a metallic black and also a pearlescent red design with a red accent color. I also chose red for the neon lights below. But the red that I pick is usually a Torino red. If I can't pick Torino, I usually go with regular. So let's see. So we got 23 different categories to go over. So let's try to go over them as quick as we can. You got all your basic options, which is brakes. You've also got the second one, which is the boost. So the boost here is important. People usually get the boost upgrade of nitrous. I, however, do not recommend that. And that's because the boost upgrade for nitrous should only be on the motorcycle. Motorcycle is actually what needs it more. It doesn't increase your top speed, it actually increases your acceleration. Where the vehicle seems like it's faster, but it can only go so fast. So it's only going to go at a specific top speed that it already has built within the game. So you really can't change that. But you can change the acceleration, so that helps with the acceleration even further than what you can upgrade it to. But what I pick is the Shunt boost, and I will show you some tips and tricks to help you with the Shunt boost as well later on. And the Shunt boost is also required to have if you want to learn how to fly. That'll be towards the end of the video. But learning how to drive around with the Shunt, that'll be a little bit before the end of the video. So stay tuned. The next upgrades that you're going to go over, this part's cosmetic, but I do recommend getting the reinforced bumper. That'll help you later with collisions. Some things on here you want to look through because like reinforced stuff, that actually means it'll help you more collisions with other cars. So I do recommend getting as much as you can for the collision stuff. So you also get a reinforced back bumper as well. On the bodywork stuff, this one's important. So you're also going to have body spikes. That'll help you popping tires. That'll also help you with killing people instantly. This vehicle is actually known as a PvP vehicle. And of course they're going to give you the options of spinning blades. That'll help you with the two sides and the back. That'll help you with blades for those. Those do instantly kill people, and it can also damage vehicles. The back one can even send vehicles flying a little bit. Not far, of course, but it'll definitely send them away from your vehicle quite a bit. If you time it right, and target it in the right position. It is possible. For the armor plating is very important. So normally you're not going to get much armor plating at all in this car. So what you want to do is you want to go to the maximum that you can. The light armor looks kind of like this. Then you got reinforced armor. Then you'll get heavy armor. Heavy armor is definitely what you're going to need for this car. Roll cage. The roll cage really is up to you. That's actually more of a cosmetic, and it's for the inside of the vehicle. I chose glow just because it looks really cool. You also get a rear wheel cover. That'll protect the wheel on the back side, so it won't get hit. Of course, you get an engine upgrade on the exhaust pipes. You want to maximize the engine upgrade, of course, level 4 if you can. The exhaust, I chose the ray gun exhaust just because they look pretty cool. But of course, that one's just preference. For the fenders, I chose spiked plating just because it looks pretty cool. That's actually the sides here, the little arches on the wheels. That part is up to you there. There's primary, there's bordered, there's livery, and I chose spiked. For the hood, you also get a little bit of armor plating for the hood. I would recommend that, considering you will need that. The stock hood comes like this. You remove the hood, and then you'll put some armor in the front of it. You can also put a gun on top of it. That would help you with that. Why they made the hood like that for the armor point of it, I don't really know why. But that's how it is. I chose the Mark II of that, because that will probably help with collisions. Horns is really up to you. That's more of like your own recommendation there. Lights, however, you can get customized headlights from the Benny's mechanic if you have that. I put it to red lights. Of course, which one you pick for that is up to you. Neon layout, you're going to want front, back, and sides. Neon color, that's whatever you want. I chose red. Then you get a livery. Livery is not optional. Usually you'll get the HK one automatically. You can always get rid of that. Or you can choose any other livery that's on here. There's 18 different liveries to pick from. Loss and theft prevention, that's already covered for you. You can also name the vehicle if you want. I have it as known as the ZR380. That's just what I like to call it. This is what it is. Obviously the plate, whichever type of plate you want, it's up to you. Rear windshield, I recommend putting the Mark III one on there. I believe that's just the cosmetic one though. I think that's just a cosmetic option, so whatever you want for that is actually up to you. I picked the Mark III just because it looks like it's covered even though it's not. You're still going to get hit on the backside no matter what you do. It's not fully bulletproof, unfortunately. Respray of this vehicle, you got primary color, you got secondary color, and you got accent color. Accent color is more like the glowing color at night that you will see more clearly than not. That'll go on also certain parts of the car as well. Of course, I chose Torino red. So any colors that I picked, the primary color that I picked was metallic black, then it went with a pearlescent of, actually the metallic that I went for was actually carbon black to give it like more of the pearlescent version of it on the car. It just pops it out more. So for the pearlescent, I chose Torino red to match the style of what I wanted. And of course metallic, you want to pick Torino red as well. That'll cover the pearlescent cover of the car. Or respray, whatever you want to say. Crew emblem, you can also put a crew emblem on there as well. You can also sell the car. Never sell the car. Do not ever sell the car. You can also put a spoiler on the back of it. This is only a cosmetic part and will not cover any part of the vehicle. I believe it becomes part of your car though. It might be protecting you a little bit. I put the sprint car wing just in case of something like that, but realistically you can put any of them that you want. That's completely up to you. Whichever one you do pick, you're free to choose. We got some interesting ones on here though. Transmission, you obviously want to go with the best one. Turbo tuning, you get turbo. You get the jump upgrade, the vertical jump. You want vertical jump all the way to 100%. That is required to learn how to fly. For the wheels, you get wheel type. You can choose whatever type of wheel you want. I want the lowrider wheel and I chose the classic rod and put that as the color Torino red or regular red depending on the options that I had. In which I actually chose red. For the tire part of it, you also get the tire design. You also get bulletproof tires. If you don't have it, you can just click on it. Easy. Red tire smoke. That's what I picked. You could pick a tire smoke for that. For the weapons, ram weapons. This is a big choice here. For the ram weapon, the one that I picked was actually the Mega Blade. Not only does that kill players instantly, but can also flip cars instantly. It's not as strong as people think though. When it comes to flipping cars, it can only flip certain things. Depending on how heavy they are. So trucks, for example, it will not be able to flip with the Mega Blades. You might be able to flip a truck via the large scoop. You'll have more of a chance of doing that with the large scoop. It is a very good scoop for anyone that does go for it. Definitely recommended. The car, however, cannot handle very many collisions, and therefore it's more meant to be for killing players anyway, because that's just what it's more designed to do, and it's a very fast car. So you will definitely be able to chase some players with this car. And so when you're chasing players, you're really going to want this blade. That'll instantly kill players if they're on foot. And the whole front of the car is actually bulletproof. So you will be able to take, that means the hood and the windshield. The hood and the windshield of the car is definitely bulletproof. So you will have no problems dealing with that. I've had a player actually use a minigun to my face, of all things. Did not kill me, surprisingly. Of course, it'll do damage to the car itself instead of hurting you, so of course it's part of the car, it's going to do that. But yeah, it will definitely not kill the player. Primary weapons, you could choose between a 50 cal or a 40 wide, maybe a 40 watt phased plasma turrets. Whichever one you pick will not matter, as they do the same amount of damage. So it just depends on what you decide to have on the car. Proximity mines. Proximity mines, you have kinetic, you have spike, EMP, slick, and sticky. The ones that are more highly recommended across the community is known to be kinetic, EMP, and slick. I have seen sticky as well be used by a couple people, but I do want to warn against using it, as it will mainly just slow down players and do basically nothing, as players can just get around it and be fine. Slick actually has more of an effect than sticky, because slick not only lasts longer, it also can make people lose their handling and crash into different objects, which allows them to slow down even further than what sticky would bring them to. Using slick right before turns as well can be very, very useful when it comes to being chased. It might not slow the player initially, but what actually happens is they'll slide to wherever they're going to crash at, if and when they do crash. I chose EMP for this vehicle because not only is it effective at shutting down people's cars, but it also allows people to slow down for a certain period of time. This actually is more effective than sticky or slick when it comes to evading players, especially if you hit them more than once with the EMP within a certain time period. If they were to hit it more than once at a certain time period, they're going to have their car shut down for an extended period of time, making it better than any other option on the proximity mines. And unlike spike, slick, or sticky, kinetic and EMP mines can actually damage players' cars. So EMP not only can shut down a player's car, but can also damage their car too. Kinetic can also damage people's cars, but can also toss them in the air. That is right. And you can actually have up to 5 active mines at any given point in time. If you have more than that, the first one that you set down will reset to be that next one that you place down. So when you have a maximum of 5, the first one you place becomes the next one to be active. Again. It resets itself and then becomes active. So the game itself will only limit you to 5 of them being active at a time, instead of anything more than that. Unfortunately, that is a thing, but I mean, what are you gonna do? But unlike any other mine, kinetic mines, if you place 5 of them down in the same spot, they actually become stronger, and 5 of them will do more damage than just 1 of them. Same thing with EMP. EMP, unfortunately though, will not last longer on the EMP part of it when it shuts down the car. It'll only shut it down for the time needed, and since it's not like given to them over like different periods of time, it will not extend the player's time of being shut down in the car. So keep that in mind when you use EMP. So mainly when you do that, it's only meant to do more damage in that spot when you put more than one down in the same spot. Kinetic though, kinetic has more of a power to lift people's cars. So 5 of them at once will make a player really skyrocket into the sky and become quite entertaining. So whichever one you pick is really up to you. It depends more on your play style. That's actually it for the options on the customizations. And my recommendations. So the next part about it, I already went through the proximity mine explanation. So next thing I'm going to go for is the bulletproof armor spots and exactly how much explosions it can take. So based on what I already know for explosions on this car, it can take up to 2 to 3 RPG missiles, and it can take up to 3 to 4 homing missiles. Bulletproof armor spots, unfortunately, it is not bulletproof on the windows of this car. So anything that looks like it's blocking it, it's actually cosmetic and will go through. Even the little back part behind it is not bulletproof as well. However, the only parts that are bulletproof are the hood of the car and the front of the hood and the windshield, especially with the little slits that are in the middle. Those are actually bulletproof. So anything on the front of that car is like that, that will be bulletproof. Windows are not, unfortunately, and on the back side as well. That back side, the back windshield will not be bulletproof. And the spoiler, I don't believe would add too much of an effect to that. So keep that in mind for when it comes to getting shot by bullets. The front is, however, bulletproof, so you can use that to your advantage when it comes to attacking players. Keep in mind, if you are not using it wisely, you can and will get killed. Now, next thing I'm going to give you is, we're getting towards the end of the video, so what I'm going to show you is some shunting and driving tips, and I'll also show you some flying tips to hopefully give you a lesson or two on how to fly, and also how to drive with the shunt. So with the ZR380, you can also have the shunt boost, and you also have the vehicle jumping. Now when it comes to jumping in the air and using the shunt, if you want to know how to use the shunt boost, all you gotta do is hold X and then tap R1 or L1. If you're on Xbox, you hold A, then tap B, you want to tap RB or LB. You gotta hold X when you tap the bumper buttons though. If you don't hold X and do that, you will not activate the shunt. Activating the shunt should look like this. It should set a car flying. You have to be closer to do that though. If you're just standing like still, it's not going to do anything, but you will see a yellow bar on the bottom left of your screen. When you actually activate the shunt, it'll recharge every 3 seconds. And you'll hear it, if you're listening in-game to the sound, you'll hear the shunt boost activating. But when you're moving a little bit and you activate the shunt, you're going to move a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, stuff like that, which actually can be very useful for driving. So if you're chasing a player, drift around to the corner, and then you can just use the shunt in whichever direction you need. Remember that LB and RB go as left and right when it comes to the sides of the car. You gotta hold X and then tap that button in order to use it. As you'll see here, it really helps me when it comes to going around corners. And this car is fast, so it'll really need that. And it's very strong. As it gets a little bit stronger, the faster you go. So when I'm going pretty fast, it can slow me down pretty good too. This is also very useful information when you're flying in the air. So you can jump with the vehicle using the left stick, and you can use the shunt in any way that you like. How to fly like this though takes a little bit of practice. I've had some people learn it within 2 weeks of actual like real time, but of course everyone is different and can learn it in different time periods. I learned it within at least a week. It didn't take me too long, and about another week to master. It really depends on exactly how long it takes for you to learn it. And I'm not the best at explaining, but please try the best that you can to follow what I say. If I do say something a little bit odd to you, try to round it out to your own way that you can understand it. And if you do have any additional questions, always let me know in the comment section below. So to learn how to fly in the air, you want to first of all gain speed. But when it comes to flying in the air, instead of being on the ground, when you're actually going to be in the air. So in the air, you don't actually have to use gas to move forward, but your gas becomes the shunt boost. And it only recharges every 3 seconds. But that's a good thing, because it moves you pretty good too, especially if you're going fast. So the reason why I say to move forward on the ground before you jump is so you have more power when you use that shunt, when you lift off. Now I'm just showing here for example what you're supposed to do. I'm obviously going a little fast, but first and foremost, when you're on the ground, you're going to go ahead and gain some speed. When you're in a clear area, you're going to go ahead and jump. Aim the car towards the side. Aim the side of the car towards the air via using the left stick, left or right, to air roll. And then use the shunt in the direction you need. In which right would be going up, left would be going down. In my case, right now. If I switch the sides, which I can, I'll air roll the other way. I can use left to go up and right to go down. And you can alternate this depending on which side that you want to use it on. It's really up to you on which way your vehicle needs to face. Now I also want to point out a few other tips. So while you're flying in the air, you're also going to realize that you might fall out of the sky pretty quickly. But there's different reasons as to why. So first and foremost, I'm going to teach you a trick that you will be using in the air. So in the air, like on the ground, not many people know how to use this trick, because you don't use it all that often. But when you jump with the vehicle, you'll be in the air, which means you can use air controls. An air control is known as this. So to prevent an air roll, you want to hold R1 and then use the left stick to the left or to the right. On the ground, you're usually turning left to right to make turns, right? It's the same thing as you do in the air, but in the air you have to hold a specific button before you make that turn. So it's like as if you're drifting on the ground, except since you're not drifting, you're just trying to prevent an air roll from occurring. And you just want to move the nose of the car, which is the front. The front of the car is the only part that you're actually moving. If you point the nose of the car directly downwards when you're in the air, it'll allow your car to speed up but lose height. And the opposite of it would be if you are to aim the nose of your car diagonally towards the sky. It'll slow your speed but gain height. So you'll lose speed, gain height if the nose is directed more towards the sky. And if it's more towards the ground, you'll gain speed but you'll lose height. So it's really about how you control the car in the air. It will take some time and practice to really master that. It shouldn't take too long though, but of course everyone is different. But to use this maneuver, jump in the air, the left stick, hold R1 and then turn with the left stick to the left or right. And the left stick being L3. So you want to jump in the air using L3, hold R1, use the left stick to the left or right. You should be able to turn into a 180 or even a 90 degree. Or even more than that. Sometimes you'll do more than 180. It's an interesting way to make a U-turn. I'll say that. But if you're on the side in the air, so you'll obviously gain speed. Jump, face your side towards the sky, and shunt towards that direction. That's in the sky. And then my nose is facing straight at the moment, but it's also facing towards the ground a little bit. I also have a gun on the vehicle, so I can also see a reticle. The reticle is basically the middle part of the hood of where the car is facing. That is very, very useful for when you're flying. Now, shunt also can activate in different directions, so you do want to play around with that a little bit, and you'll notice which way it'll actually shunt at, which way it won't. It's very weird, but it's also very cool at the same time. Now you're gonna notice my nose is pointing towards the ground now. What if I want to, instead of gain speed, what if I want to lose speed a bit and gain some more height? Get off the ground a bit. So I want to go ahead, now unfortunately if you have the nose facing a 90-degree angle, like this, you're not going to be able to hold R1 and turn. Because it won't let you. It's an aero mechanic. So it works only in its own way. So unfortunately, I do have to get around that. But to get around that, all you gotta do is face your car in the diagonal direction. And then go ahead and hold R1. And then use left stick to make an adjustment. And then you'll go ahead and you'll be able to slow down your speed. And gain height a little bit. So I'm gonna do that for you. You're also gonna need the reticle on my screen here is actually going to go up a bit towards the sky, as you'll see here. If it's too much, you're going to lose too much speed and you're going to drop. It says right here, I'm now facing it to the ground. I'm now gaining speed. I'm also gaining a little bit of height too. So I'm trying to keep a good balance of it. Now I'm gaining speed. I want to aim it up a little bit to go ahead and gain a little height here. And there you go, you just constantly keep making those little adjustments. And yes, the shunt can activate every 3 seconds. It's really quick. You can make adjustments while you're in the air all the time. All you gotta do is focus on just getting used to it. Making adjustments all the time. Don't make too many adjustments at once, because if you screw up, you're gonna fall. So you do want to be careful. Pay attention to what your car is doing all the time. That way you don't screw up. Especially if you're over water. If you want to add a challenge to it, fly over the water, so you know if your car lands, it's going to get screwed. So if you want a challenge added to that, there you go. Oh yeah, and you can use the horn in the air too. Yeah, if anyone has any questions, comments, concerns, let me know in the comment section below. I will gladly answer anything that you have. See you on the next video, and I'll hopefully see you in GTA 5 flying in the sky. Peace out, everyone.